Welcome back students, welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 11th science biology and we are going to see the 5th chapter, that is the morphology of flowering plants. We have covered so many topics of this chapter right in the previous videos, right? If you wish to check the previous videos of mine, then you can check the YouTube channel of for it, right? Now, here today we are going to see the chapter 5, the furthermore topics, right, which are left over. Right, we have already covered so many topics of this chapter, but now we are going to see the further more important topics of chapter 5, right, which are commonly asked in the exam, right? So starting with, now I'm going to share the screen with you. So when I'll share, you will see that I'm going to show you the PPT, and from that we are going to learn today's lecture. So you can see here, right? So now here you can see we have already completed all these things, right? The types of leaves, modifications of leaf, inflorescence, flower, based on position of ovary, right? Till that we have completed. Today we are going to start with the parts of flower, which is commonly asked in the exam in different ways, right? So the first part of the flower is the calyx, right? The four main parts of the flower are calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium, right? The first is the calyx. The calyx is made up of sepals, and it can be gamosepalous or polysepalous, right? Here calyx means the sepals, right? The green colored which is present nearby to the petiole, right? That is what a calyx, right? And this calyx can be gamosepalous or polysepalous. Gamosepalous, see these two things are different, right? Gamosepalous means here they are, see, they are present in singular form, that is when they are not fused with each other, right? Polysepalous means they are fused with each other, and for this reason they are said to be polysepalous. That means so many sepals are fused with each other. Corolla is there, which is the second part, and that is made up of petals. Here I have, sorry, it is a mistake. Here I have written it as a ortals, sorry for that, but it is made up of petals, right? That is the colorful petals which are seen in the flower, that is the corolla, right? It is also gamopetalous and polypetalous. Gamopetalous is again, if they are not united with each other, then they are said to be gamopetalous. If they are united to form a full flower, then they are said to be polypetalous, where all the petals are joining with each other to form the whole petal formation, right? Next is the estivation. Estivation is what? The arrangement of the sepals or petals in the floral bud. So floral bud, that is the flower. जो flower है उसमें जो sepals or petals, the arrangement, whatever arrangement is being carried out in the flower of the calyx and the corolla, that is known as estivation, right? Now there are different types of estivations which are observed here, right? So the first type you can see is, the types are, see, valvate, then twisted, imbricate, and vexillary. So these are the four different types of astivations which are found in different types of plants, right? See here you can see that the examples are also being given. See in the valvate, that is Petunia alba, then Calotropis. Then in twisted, the twisted type of estivation is found in China rose. Imbricate type of estivation is found in Gulmohar, and vexillary type of estivation is found in pea and beans, right? So now you can see what is the difference between these types of estivation, right? So the first type is the valvate type of estivation. The valvate type of estivation shows, see, you can see the circular here, so there is no overlapping which is observed. See, the whole particular petals and sepals, they are arranged in a single manner. So as they are arranged in this manner, the name itself depicted as a valvate, right? So no uh, where the no overlapping which is carried out, that type is known as valvate. Second is twisted. You can see here the second type which is said to be twisted. Here you can see there is one overlap which is seen, right? So the one petal is overlapped on the second one, right? So here you can see the one side is overlapped, not both the sides, but only one single side is being overlapped on the another one. And as it is forming a twist like structure, for this reason this type of estivation is known as twisted. Third type is the imbricate estivation, where you can see that there is no proper or no same type of estivation is observed, or we can say, see in twisted there is one direction which is seen, right? But here in the imbricate no such directions are common, right? That means there is presence of the, you know, the petals are overlapping each other in any direction. So here when we are talking about twisted, it is occurring only one single direction, but while we are talking about the imbricate, it has been overlapped in all the directions, or maybe it is not common that it should be occurred in the same direction, but it can be overlapped in all the different types of directions. So for this reason the third type is said to be the imbricate type of estivation. The fourth and the last type of estivation is the vexillary, right? You can see here the flower, there is presence of one petal which is the longest petal, and it is covering all the other petals which are present insidely, right? So here you can see this two of the petals are the smaller petals, right? And the third petal which you can see at the last, right, that is the longest petal which is covering the other two flaps of the petals. So as it is covering and one particular petal which is comparatively bigger in size, this two of the petal they fuse with each other to form one single petal, right? And this flap and this particular region or is overlapped on the other petals, and for this reason this type of estivation is said to be vexillary estivation. So these are the four different types of estivation, right? I'm going to send you the notes in the WhatsApp group so that you can easily write the notes. You can refer the notes for it. The next is the androecium, right? The androecium means what? The male sex organ, right? Here in androecium, staminode is there, and which is said to be the sterile stamen. Sterile stamen means it is not going to bear the pollen grains. Now, as it is not having the pollen grains do contain, they are said to be the male gametes. But if the particular stamen, or we can say the staminode, it is the androecium. If the androecium is staminate, then what it is, that the particular stamen is not having the ability to, you know, bear the pollen grains, or you know, it is not having the ability to form the male sex gametes, right? So it is said to be staminode. Sterile means it is not able to carry out the reproductive part. Next is epipetalous, right? Epipetalous means they are attached to the petals. Petalous, that is petals. Epi means they are attached, right? So when the particular stamens are attached to the petals, then it is known as epipetalous, right? And if they are attached to the perianth, then it is known as epiphyllous. Perianth is they are neither attached to the petal nor they are attached to the particular sepals, right? So they are not attached to the any of the regions, that is petals or sepals or calyx or corolla, but as they are simply present and they have their direct attachment to the receptacle or the thalamus region. For this reason, it is that region is neither said to be the petal region or a sepal region. For this reason, they are said to be a perianth region, right? So epiphyllous is what the attachment, or when the particular stamens are attached to the perianth, then that is known as epiphyllous, right? Next is polyadelphous, right? Polyadelphous means the presence is, or we can say it is present as free stamens, right? Free stamens means the stamens are not fused with each other, right? They are present differently, or they are present separately. So what happens here, the particular the stamens which are present over here, they, which is poly means so many stamens are there, right? So here those stamens are going to form what, the as they are free in nature, right? They are not fused with each other. For this reason they are said to be the polyadelphous. When we are talking about monoadelphous, that means only one single type is present, right? And for this reason all the stamens, they are united, or they are present or they are fused with each other to form a bunch like structure, and as it is forming a bunch like structure, for this reason they are said to be monoadelphous. Again, the example which is seen in the monoadelphous, that is of the China rose. That means in China rose all the stamens will be attached, or they are united with each other to form what? A monoadelphous, right? Next is diadelphous, that is united two bundles, right? They are united with each other, and they are, as they are united with each other, they, di means two, right? That means two stamens are attached, or they are fused with each other to form bundles, right? So they are forming two bundles. For this reason they are known as diadelphous. And if the particular you can see here polyadelphous, that is, here so many bundles are there, so many bundles are forming. For this reason they are known as uh, polyadelphous, right? Here you can see is that the particular, see here the example which is seen in the polyadelphous is the citrus, right? See here I have said about the difference between these two of them, right? Could we turn off your mic? Okay. So here you can see the difference is that here I said about the epipetalous and epiphyllous, right? Epipetalous which was attaching to the petal region, epiphyllous which was attaching to the perianth region. That means they are the particular petals and the sepals, they are not distinct in nature, right? So here body, don't get confused between epiphyllous and epipetalous and polyadelphous, right? So these are the three of the things which are different in nature. So this is about the endoecium. Next is the gynoecium. When the gynoecium is present in one means the carpel. See the names of the gynoecium is known as the female sex organ. The gynoecium is also known as carpel. The gynoecium is also depicted as the pistil, right? So these are the different types of names of the female sex organ which are observed in the flowers, right? Now you can see here is, if the gynoecium is present in one, then it is known as gynoecium. If it is present in more number, then they are said to be more carpels, right? Now, the ovules attached on the wall of ovary is called placenta. The ovules, right? The ovules you can see here. See, these are said to be the ovules. See here, this round structures are where I'm showing the arrow. That is, these are what the particular ovules. So when they are attached to the ovary wall, that ovary wall where through which they are attaching, that is known as placenta, right? Here apocarpus means the carpels are free, and syncarpus, that means the carpels are fused with each other, right? Carpels, right? Carpels means the gynoecium. So when, if the particular female sex organ or the gynoecium are free, right, they are not present, they are not fused with each other, then they are said to be apocarpus. And if the particular carpels are fused with each other, then they are said to be the syncarpus. So after the fertilization, ovules develops into seed. See, here you have to remember this 2 points where I'm showing the arrow, because it will be very important for you. It can also be asked in MCQ also, right? That ovary always develops into the fruit, and ovules always develop into the seed, right? So ovary is going to, whatever you eat in the fruit, that is the ovary, and the seeds which are present inside it, those are ovules, right? In the gynoecium you see placentation, right? So the process of the arrangement of ovules within the ovary, that is known as placentation. So you can see here, these are the different types of ovules which are arranged in the different arrangement or in the different manner. So the arrangement, the different types of arrangement of the ovules which is observed inside the ovary, that process is known as placentation. So different types are, first is marginal, second is axial, third is parietal, fourth is precentral, and fifth is basal, right? So these are the 5 types of placentations which are observed in the plants, right? Here in the last 2 points over here where I'm showing the arrow, you can see along with the placentation type, the examples are also been given, right? The marginal type is seen in pea, exile type is seen in lemon, china rose, or tomato. Parietal is seen in mustard, free central is seen in primrose, and basal is seen in sunflower. So what is the difference between them? See, let's see the first one, that is marginal. You see, this is a pea, right? In Gujarati, you simply say as patang, right? So this P, you can see here, this P is having a margin, and it is bearing the seeds over here where I'm showing the arrows, right? You please kindly keep your eyes on the arrow so that you can easily understand the main figure, right? So here you can see is uh, this particular margin is there, and from this margin the ovules are born, right? So as it is having a margin, and this margin is responsible for giving rise to the different or bearing the different types of ovules, right? For this reason, that type is said to be the uh, marginal type of placentation. The second type is the axile, means the, see here it is a circular type, you can see is, and axile, you might have seen the both axile, right? So same way here also it is also similar to that shape, as it is divided into three parts, right? See, this is the first compartment, this is the second compartment, and this is the third compartment, and the ovules are being distributed in three of the compartments at the center portion. For this reason, this type is known as the axile type of placentation. The third type is said to be the parietal, where you can see the, but there is no division which is observed, but the ovules are born at the three different distinct sites, right? At the peripheral sides, right? This is said to be the periphery region, and as the ovules are born on the peripheral region, for this reason this type is known as parietal type of placentation. The next type is the free central, that is the ovules are not attached on the any of the wall, right, any of the ovary wall, but it is present freely in the center. For this reason, this type of placentation is known as free central placentation. And the last type is the basal, because the ovary wall is there and it is present at the base, right? As this particular ovule is present at the base, for this reason it is said to be the basal type of placentation. So here is, we complete the parts of flower, right? The parts of flower contains what? Calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. In androecium we have seen about the estivation, in gynoecium we have seen in detail about the placentation. Also we have seen the different types of them, right? That is, in estivation we have seen its different types, as well as in gynoecium also we have seen different types, right? So now you can see is that we have completed the next topic of this chapter, and that is the parts of flower. And I hope you are very clear with today's topic, and if you have any doubts, then you can check my YouTube video for it, right? So I hope to see you again. Thank you.